Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I was tagged by Kristen at IndyMama X3. IndyMama is one word and a capital X, a space, capital X, and the number 3. I'm going to link her channel down below. And for those of you who don't know what a tag is or don't watch many YouTube channels, that means that one of the other YouTube creators has tagged you and other YouTube creators to create a video. This one is a fall tag, so you're answering 5 questions about fall, and then asks you to go ahead and tag others. Excuse me. So, without further ado, the first question is, what is your favorite fall scent? And there are many, many, many fall scents. The crisp, clean air that comes in the fall, right before the leaves hit the ground. You know, it's just that first day of cold where you just step outside and you're like, oh, everything just smells so clean and crisp, even in the city. All of the baked goods, the vanilla and the pumpkin spice and the cinnamon and the clove and nutmeg, those are all delicious. However, my favorite happens to be sage, celery, and onions. Basically, it's dad stuffing. I think it has the most aromatic, specific smell I love. My dad used to make, first of all, my father was an extraordinary cook, and you won't really find anybody who will argue the opposite point. And he made all the holidays special, but we did have a couple of, a few things on the menu that were on the menu for every holiday. But one of them that was exclusive to Thanksgiving, besides the turkey, was the stuffing. And it was a very complex recipe, but it was very specific, and just the combination of like a Jimmy Dean breakfast sausage, celery and onion, and then the sage and thyme, and just that whole combination of stuffing smells with the roasted chestnuts. Towards the end of his life, we started to find pre-shelled cooked chestnuts at Trader Joe's, but in the past he would have to bake them in the oven, and they would split, and that smell, there's just nothing like it. So if I smell the roasting of chestnuts, if I smell the sage, if I smell the breakfast sausage, whatever it is, that combination always takes me back to Thanksgiving, to autumn, to this time of the year. So that would have to be it. Number 2 is, what's the best way to spend a rainy day? Well, the best way for me to spend a rainy day, first of all, for those of you who are not familiar with my setup here, I'm on the couch. I'm on my spot on the couch. And right across from me, if you could see, is that giant double sliding glass door. That big gray curtain hides a double sliding glass door. And when I look out that double sliding glass door, I look into the field that runs behind the house. The field that often has deer and fox and rabbits and all these wonderful things that I get to see. But on a rainy day, you can see the sky and the neighbor's house, and the rain just falls, and the sound of the rain, and I do just love to sit here and watch it sometimes. I'll shut the TV, I'll be with Jim, we'll turn the TV off and maybe let the fireplace run, depending on the time of the year, of course, and we'll just be and just watch. I love to curl up on the couch with him, and we share this blanket, the wolf blanket that I bought from him, stole him, or a lap blanket. We would just curl up under a blanket and just sit here and watch movies or TV or whatever. Number 3, what is your favorite drink in the fall? My favorite drink in the fall, I can't drink anymore. My favorite drink in the fall is apple cider. My favorite drink in the fall is cinnamon apple cider or mulled cider, warmed cider with seasonings in it, mulling spices. There's really nothing like that. But since I can't really drink that anymore because juice is not good for diabetics, pumpkin spice creamer from my coffee is probably my favorite. It is. I do love my Italian sweet cream, but it is that treat this time of year. Pour a big cup of coffee in my my brand new pumpkin cup. Thank you to Family Dollar. Yes, that's probably my favorite. Mulled cider. Number 4 is football, yay or nay? Yes. Okay, so football, I love. I'm not infatuated. I'm not obsessed. I do love it. But strictly speaking, it's mostly following the stats, following my favorite team on Instagram and Facebook. Well, I'm not really on Facebook much anymore, but following my favorite team, the Washington Redskins. And then, of course, watching the Super Bowl and possibly some playoff games. But on a regular basis, I don't watch the NFL on TV. I did when I was in New York. We watched it with Pop just about every Sunday. The Jets or the Giants were on, and we watched them. But I haven't really. Jim isn't really into it. Obviously, Mom's not into it. So it just would be me, and then, with him working overnights, we kind of sleep in. So really it would just be left to Monday Night Football, but we have other things that we watch. And it's on there, so every once in a while I'll catch, the highlights and stuff. But I think that's a lot of stuff for me lately. Watching sports on TV is a lot about just catching the highlights. I love baseball. I'm a huge New York Mets fan. But I really have not been a watch baseball on TV kind of a person. It's nothing like the experience of being there. It really isn't. And I'm not the best when it comes to giving luck to my hometown team while watching them on TV. Let's put it that way. Their success rate of me watching them on TV is very low. And the same thing with hockey. I'm a big New York Islanders fan, and the same thing. Don't watch the games on TV, even when now that I live here, that's not true. I do, if they're playing the Blues and I get an opportunity to actually see them. It's different when you live in the area where they're on 5 nights a week, or not 5 nights a week, but like every night that they play, which is usually 3 or 4 times a week. It's different when they're on 3 or 4 times a week that you know how you watch them. But now that if they play here, and I could get the opportunity to watch a game, then I will click on and watch it. But really, there's nothing like watching sports in person. Going to a game and that camaraderie and the excitement of an arena or a stadium, or a field even, where that really gets you going for the sport. So yes, football, yay and nay. And the 5th question is, what is your favorite article of clothing this time of year? And for those of you who are new, I run hot. In fact, Jim and I did a haul the other day, and somebody commented that I was in a tank top. I was in a sleeveless dress, and he was in a parka. And I was like, that's my marriage. But I do run hot. Even before I was like Holly hormone, I tend to always be warm. I always tell everybody I'm naturally insulated. That's what it is. So this time of year is when I can actually break out some like warm clothes, winter clothes, or what everybody else would consider winter clothes. And my favorite to date is this. It is a pullover hoodie that says the Raleigh Bulldogs on it. Go Bulldogs. Which is the hometown high school football team. And it is nice and big. I used to have one my brother got me that was a Washington Redskins one, and it was like my favorite hoodie. And it just basically fell apart. I think I had it for like 20 years, and it just fell apart. This one is from Walmart. Walmart here carries all the local, the high schools, the the 3 high schools that are in the area, the college that's in Rolla, and the obviously the like the Cardinals and the Blues and stuff, but they also carry the college that's like sort of close to us in Columbia, the Mizzou, Missouri State University, Mizzou Tigers. They carry those too. So, but this is my favorite to date. I do have a really cute little orange short sleeve sweater that I like. It's my favorite, like pumpkin color, autumn type of thing. But when I used to work in an office and I dressed up, I had lots of favorite autumn clothes because when I lived in New York, it was also colder sooner. So, but now that I'm here, it's only just started to get cold the last week or so, and I pulled out my hoodie, and I love it. I just love it, love it, love it. So that's it. So that was my 5 questions. I hope you really enjoyed this, getting to know me and my fall favorites. Now it's my turn to tag you all. I'm going to challenge this tag. No, it's not a challenge. I'm going to tag Teresa Branham. Check her out. And then It's a Deal and Pam's Life and Miss Monificent. So you're up, ladies. It's your turn. Let's learn a little bit of something about you and the fall. Now, I'm going to, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to show you how I created some compound butters and cute little pumpkin-shaped butters using the silicone mold from the Dollar Tree. Okay, stay tuned. So the first thing you'll need is this pumpkin mold, or any mold if you want to mold it. This one's going to be ground cinnamon and brown sugar. You're going to need plastic wrap, measuring spoons, a silicone spatula is best, and a bowl, and then some room softened butter. So I'm just doing a half a stick of each because we're not going to have very much company for Thanksgiving. So this is the recipe for a half a stick of butter. So then go ahead and double it or triple it, however you see fit. So this is 4 tablespoons of butter, softened, room temperature. If you've never made compound butter before, it's super easy. And it's almost like, why doesn't everybody make compound butter? That's what I'd like to know. I don't know. But this is the cinnamon brown sugar that I've made for sweet potatoes on Thanksgiving. This is just my favorite thing to put on sweet potatoes. So it is 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. This is light brown sugar packed. And that's it. So you just want to take the silicone spatula. I like the silicone spatula the best because it's best for scraping bowls, especially when you have something fatty and greasy like butter. You want to make sure you get it all incorporated. Just mix it in the best you can and spread it out. See how I'm like spreading there? And then scraping and spreading and scraping. So when it comes to the silicone spatula, When it comes to the silicone pumpkin molds, this mold was from the Dollar Tree and it came out at Halloween, excuse me. But I said I knew because they weren't jack-o'-lanterns that I wanted to use them for some butter for Thanksgiving. Sorry. So the important thing to do is to make sure you fill them without holes in the bottom the best you can. Give them a little tap every once in a while. But because the butter is so dense, tapping won't really resolve that. What you want to do is you want to load it sort of like the lower part first and then fill it as you go, like in little sections. Don't just put a big glob in there because you will tend to get a big air bubble. And then I'm scraping across the top. I'm just using as much as I can. I actually got, I think, 6 pats of butter out of this half a stick. And like I said, we're not planning, on having very many people. Oh no, I'm going to get 8. We're not having very many people on Thanksgiving. It's just us. And I think I'm the only person who eats sweet potatoes. So this is fine. This butter will keep in an airtight container in your refrigerator for quite a while. And Jim will have it on toast and stuff. He likes brown sugar, cinnamon brown sugar butter anyway. All right, and I'm just making sure I get all of it because I'm not a millionaire on TV, so I have to scrape my bowl. So as you see here, I'm just using the flat edge of the rubber spatula, and I'm scraping the edges so that the butter is nice and flat, and the cleanup will be that much easier. Now, I will, in full disclosure, some of the pumpkin stems may come off during the flip out process, but there is an easy way to resolve it when it's with the butter here. I can show you. And I've just taken a clean napkin and I folded it in fours, and I'm just trying to clear off the edges because I want the plastic wrap to stick. And the reason we're covering this in plastic wrap, we're putting the plastic wrap directly on the butter, is to keep any refrigerator odors out. You know, if you don't have an airtight container for your butter, sometimes it could pick up on the odors in your refrigerator. Even with the best baking soda smells in there, it'll still pick up all the flavors. So I've covered it airtight and I've put it in the freezer overnight. And the next morning I took it out, which was this morning. I took it out and I'm turning it out onto the plastic wrap. Okay, so peel the plastic wrap and there we go. I'm just going to use the plastic wrap to turn it out onto. Now it's funny, the first one came out perfect. It's so funny. The stem stayed attached, but because it's butter, like you probably could do it with chocolate, but probably not candy. But because it's butter, it's so easy to just stick the stems back on if the stems are important to you. If they're not important to you, these still look like pumpkins. They totally look like pumpkins. So they're still very cute pats of butter. But this is just one option. And again, this butter, compound butters, you don't need to put in a mold. And I'm just going to show you in a second with the garlic herb butter that you can just roll them in the plastic wrap. But this is just the idea that I had for Thanksgiving. And here they are. I'm just laying them on a cute little tray. Why is this tray upside down? I have no idea. Don't ask me. But if you're going to ask me about this plate, I got this plate at Kmart 3 autumns ago after Thanksgiving clearance. And it's melamine. Okay? So the next one we're going to do is a really quick garlic herb butter, excuse me. And what we're going to do is you're going to use the other half of that stick of softened butter. So this is a half a stick of softened butter. So if you want to make a full stick or more, you go ahead and you make your ingredients accordingly. All right, and we're going to use 1/2 of a teaspoon of this minced jarred garlic. Now this minced garlic I find has a much subtler note than if it was raw garlic. And since we're not going to cook this butter, keep that in mind. I like the way that this jarred garlic is much better. And to add that different level of garlic, what we're going to do is add a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. And again, this is to a half a stick of butter. So that's a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, which just gives it a different subtle type of garlic flavor note, okay? And then we're going to also add a 1/4 teaspoon of parsley flakes. You can add chopped fresh parsley if you'd like. Of course, that would make it much better. And then a couple of pinches of dried chives. And again, if you have fresh chives, again, all the better. But it's hard for me to keep fresh herbs in the house. We don't really use them enough. And then I did add some salt because the garlic and the chives and the parsley are not salted. So you just have to add a little bit of extra salt to bring those flavors out. And again, blend it really well, just like we did with the sweet butter. Okay. For this one, we're going to lay out a sheet of plastic wrap. That's going to get caught on itself. And this one, I'm not worrying about its presentation. It's just going to be for the house here. So I'm just going to dollop all of the butter in the middle of the saran wrap. And if you guys have seen people wrap butters before, fold it in half, and then you start at the end. That's the half, right around the tube of butter. And you're just going to roll it, grab both sides and roll it. And that's just going to make a tube of butter. Again, this isn't for presentation. This is just for us. I tied the ends in a knot, and it goes straight in the refrigerator. So I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share with friends and family. Anybody you know who'd be interested in watching the tags or learning how to make the butter. And as always, you guys take care. God bless. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye. My favorite that I can have. My favorite that I can have is mulled spider. Spider? Mulled spider? Did I really say that? Mulled cider.